Well, former media baron Peter Mukherjea's son Rahul has come out in defense of his father, claiming that he's innocent. Now, Rahul has said that the murder and criminal conspiracy charges leveled by the CBI against his father were absolutely outrageous. However, ironically, it was Rahul himself who provided the clinching evidence against his father, Peter Mukherjea, to the CBI. Rahul provided an audio tape of his conversation with Peter Mukherjea to the investigating agency, which is believed to have led to the former media baron's arrest. Peter's son had recorded all the telephonic conversation he had with him and Indrani. During one such conversation, Peter lied to his son that he had spoken to Sheena and she was alive in the United States. The CBI suspects Peter was aware about the murder of Sheena. He may not have played a direct role in Sheena's strangulation, but he was part of the larger conspiracy. According to the charge sheet filed by the CBI, after Sheena's murder, Indrani was sending SMSs to Rahul Mukherjea impersonating as Sheena. It was through one such text message that Indrani posed as Sheena to break up with Rahul. Rahul has shared all these text messages with the CBI. But I just want to know whether there was any point in time where you interacted with Peter, and would you be able to give us a sense as to whether he did look like a man who could be in complete ignorance of what happened in his own household?
Maha, it's so sad really. I was thinking about it, and all of us presume that we know something about life and we are reasonably rational beings and have some sense of our iota of intelligence, if not too much. But seriously, I'm so shocked and amazed to know this, because Peter was the most decent human being on earth, the nicest senior to have, one of the most affable, amiable guys. So it's tough. But also, if you look at Rakesh Maria ji, I mean, he's a cop I've really admired. He's been a tough cop. So two people who were more or less very, very accomplished, extremely well regarded in their respective professions, their credibility suffered such a blow. Not to say what Mumbai police has to suffer now on account of one individual and his team that he handpicked. And also people like Peter Mukherjea, because now you feel nothing about anybody at all. So it has indeed been very, if you look at human psychology, and you realize that you know nothing about anybody at all, and there's such darkness that goes on in people's houses and within their dispositions, that a mother would be compelled to kill her daughter along with the help, now we believe, at least the knowledge of the present husband, and with the actual help of a former husband. So it is far too bizarre, gruesome, and saddening to say the least.
CBI has charged Peter Mukherjea with the same sections as Indrani and other two accused. They know he was not involved in the execution of the killing, but his role is simply not just confined to lying. His silence was criminal. They are certain that he was privy to the fact that Sheena Bora has been murdered, but he chose not to report it due to some compulsions. CBI sleuths are now probing him on these lines to gather more evidence against him. With camera person Raju Revankar and Kamlesh Sutar, Atir Khan in Mumbai for India Today.
Now, as questions are being raised on the alleged botch-up of the Sheena Bora murder case by Raigad and Mumbai police, the Devendra Fadnavis government has asked the state DGP to submit a fresh report on it within 15 days. The Maharashtra government has sought to know why no FIR was filed after the victim's body was found in 2012 in the Raigad forest. Dissatisfied with the earlier one-page report submitted by former DGP Sanjeev Dayal on the action taken against the Raigad police in 2012, the state government has directed DGP Praveen Dikshit to submit a fresh report. Sheena Bora, remember, was murdered in 2012 and her body was dumped in a forest in Raigad, allegedly by her mother Indrani Mukherjea, Sanjeev Khanna and Shambar Rai. A few days after the murder, local villagers in Raigad had complained to the police about foul smell emanating from the place. While the police recovered the body, they did not pursue any further investigations and did not even file a formal report into the case. Raigad police's refusal to register a complaint back then has raised many questions and prompted a probe into the matter. The questions are also being raised over Mumbai police's investigation into the Sheena Bora murder case.
Police being pulled up, the interesting twist has emerged in this story. Indrani's driver Shambar Rai, who is also a prime accused in this case, used to work for a former assistant police inspector, Sohail Buddha, after he left Mukherjee household. Shamwar was arrested while he worked for Buddha, and Buddha is very close to then Commissioner of Police Rakesh Maria, who spearheaded this particular investigation.
Well, and earlier I spoke with Vikram Singh, the former Director General of Police of Uttar Pradesh, about the way the entire Sheena investigation has been handled.
Mr. Singh, I want to, take that forward because, the charges that have been slapped against Peter Mukherjea are the same as those charged against the initial 3 arrests, including Rahul Mukherjea. Now, if the police says that he was not part of the actual murder, how fair is it to charge him with the same sections?
Important question. He may not have been involved in the actual commission of the murder, but every evidence, every shred of evidence points fingers at Peter Mukherjea. There are 7 pieces of incriminating evidence which goes to show hiring of the cab, organizing and orchestrating everything with a remote control wherever he was. Therefore, the evidence and the call details are so conclusive that before the murder, during the murder and after the murder, there are detailed conversations, although the conversations may not be recorded, it wasn't recorded, but the call details are indicative and conclusive proof that he was in constant touch with the perpetrators of the murder.
But sir, the Mumbai police initially had said that they had put Indrani and the other 2 accused under surveillance for some time, after which they arrested them. Why not? Why wasn't Peter also in that same bracket?
How would you know that they would not have? The Mumbai investigation was an operation cover-up and not a serious investigation. CBI is the first investigation that is serious, and I think the Raigad episode and the mess-up will also be inquired into by the CBI. And the timing of the arrest is one thing that only the investigator would know. When, why, at which point of time, and with what results. The cost benefit, I wouldn't say the cost benefit, but the SWOT analysis of every arrest is very thoroughly examined and evaluated.
Initially, reports were that this whole investigation was carried on a tip-off, an anonymous tip-off. Now, it is not imperative for the police to tell people who that anonymous phone caller or the person who gave the tip-off was, but isn't it just wise perhaps for them to, communicate that for the sake of transparency, or do you think that will put the person at risk?
No, Ma, it is not as simple as that. Every time you recover a country-made weapon, it is a very disconcerting piece of news. Wherever in India, the language is the same. खाना तलाशी में एक नाजायज कट्टा दस्तयाब हुआ. It is the same.
Yes.
And you know where it is planted and why it is planted. Whenever you want to grill a person, I don't say it has happened in this case, you plant a thing and then grill the person into, bully him into submission. And either you had a script ready and you started acting and sitting, filling in the dots on a programmed route chart and an investigation plan. This seems to be a very disconcerting and a depressing sight that they were working on pre-scripted scheme, and that is how the investigation progressed. You ignore the financial trail, you ignore the money laundering part, you ignore, just line up the domestics and Indrani and call it off. Peter Mukherjea safe in his safe haven.